Be careful. A rich man is making secret payment to a person to take your. My beloved child, listen closely and do not blink because the next breath can change your life. A shadow with diamonds on his wrist is moving money in silence against your name. The transfer is not just about cash, it is about stealing the light that you waited years to kindle. A crisp envelope travels across a table in a dim room where curtains never open. The man who signs it smiles with the kind of calm that comes from thinking he owns people. His plan is to buy your tomorrow and bury your voice under polished shoes. He has paid someone to study your steps and memorize your habits. They watch what time you wake, who you trust, and where your joy lives. They collect every detail like keys to a vault that does not belong to them. The message reaches me like a siren in the night that refuses to stop. I see ledgers that hide your name behind codes and initials. I see a contract written to erase you while pretending to protect you. My beloved child, a storm is circling the roof of your house with gloves on. It knocks without knocking and speaks without moving its lips. The air chills when the courier's motorbike halts at the corner and the helmet visor never lifts. A soft blue light from a phone screen exposes a trail of payments. The amount looks ordinary so no one will ask, yet the intent is heavy like iron in a pocket. The beneficiary smiles because betrayal has finally found its price. The rich man thinks influence is a god that never says no. He feeds this false god with gifts, dinners, and secret meetings that begin after midnight. He believes silence is loyalty and fear is the signature that matters most. Your name is whispering through rooms where you have never stepped. A map lies open with a red line circling the places you visit. They plan to stand where your feet will fall before sunrise. My beloved child, I place a shield on your heart that confuses every spy. Let their notes crumble into dust before they can use them. Let their recordings return as static that ruins their own ears. You will feel the world try to push you off balance today. When that moment arrives, plant your feet like roots gripping the oldest stone. Breathe in the truth that you are not for sale and never will be. The person hired against you wears a friendly face in daylight. They call you by a nickname to lower your guard. Their smile is a rope disguised as a ribbon. Another payment is queued in a server room where the air smells like metal. A clerk yawns and stamps a file without looking, and that laziness almost signs away your harvest. The rich man pats his cufflinks as if victory belongs to him already. My beloved child, I tear the seal on that envelope in the realm of intention. The ink runs and the letters blur so the deal is no longer clean. Their certainty begins to shake like glass on a moving train. You will notice small warnings that feel like déjà vu. A door that should be open stays stuck, delaying you just enough to avoid their trap. A friend you rarely speak to calls at the exact second your path must change. The buyer of your silence chooses people who crave applause. He offers them expensive masks so they can pretend courage while they perform cowardice. Behind the mask, their eyes measure your kindness like a commodity. Powerful hands reach for your story to edit it for their profit. They plan to turn your miracles into merchandise and your scars into leverage. They forget that the author of your life writes in a language that money cannot read. My beloved child, I stand between your steps and their scheme like a wall of bright steel. Every time they advance, their own footprints slide backward. They swing with confidence and strike a mirror that reflects their intent back into their chest. Tonight, a meeting is scheduled at a restaurant where the music is too loud for truth. The dealmaker orders the most expensive dish to crown his ego. He laughs at the thought of your confusion while a pen waits inside his jacket. The pen will fail at the moment it matters most. The ink will dry as if a desert walked into it and stayed. Papers will not hold signatures when the wind of justice blows through the room. My beloved child, your spirit is being calibrated to detect counterfeit love. You will sense the difference between genuine care and purchased concern. The weight of real loyalty will sit in your palm like a warm stone. You are about to witness names reveal themselves without being asked. A careless message will arrive in the wrong chat and glow like a warning flare. A screenshot will find its way to you and decode their whispers. The rich man believes timelines bow to him because he bends clocks with favors. He assumes gates will open when he nods and that laws are suggestions. He has forgotten that destiny does not bend, it breaks those who try to cage it. My beloved child, your table is being prepared while they plan to steal your chair. A better seat exists where their tickets cannot enter. The invitation will reach you with a softness that carries thunder inside it. You will feel a sudden urge to clean your space and your circle. Old papers will leave, dusty promises will leave, and tired fears will leave. The room will echo with room for new doors. The hired person will hesitate as the hour approaches. Their hands will shake because the payment no longer feels like a prize. Their conscience will rise like a tide that cannot be bribed. My beloved child, hear this seal placed upon your name. No signature against you will survive the morning. No agreement to erase you will outlive the light that carries you. A messenger wearing calm eyes will deliver a different envelope. Inside is a path that takes you beyond the reach of those who trade integrity. Inside is a key that opens a gate they never knew existed. You will remember the faces who stood with you when the room was cold. Their presence will feel like fireplaces built from living wood. Keep them close because warmth is a currency that never collapses. The rich man will learn that influence without honor is a sinking palace. His allies will drift as the tide reveals the rot beneath the floor. He will stand with plenty and yet hold nothing. My beloved child, rise slowly and let strength return to your shoulders. Straighten your back because the sky loves those who refuse to bow to greed. Walk forward because the ground is choosing you with every step. The road ahead carries new partners who value truth over show. They will build with you brick by honest brick. Your name will travel as a blessing, not as a rumor. Let the night finish its noise while you keep your peace. Dawn is already practicing your name like a song. Your day will begin with a soft roar of protection that never tires. My beloved child, I leave you wrapped in clarity that cuts through performance. May your eyes stay sharp and your feet stay guided. May your voice carry a calm fire that cannot be purchased. Breathe, stand, and step into the hour that tries to scare you. The payment against you is dissolving like salt in rain. The story that arises now belongs to your courage and your unshakable worth. Hold this assurance like gold that never tarnishes. Keep moving while the false doors lock themselves from the inside. The path ahead glows with a certainty that refuses to dim. My beloved child, what was meant to take your peace will now take their illusion. What was meant to buy your silence will fund your rise in ways they cannot calculate. What was meant to reduce you will reveal you in full. You were never a bargain and never a secret. You are a headline written across the horizon in letters the world can see. Step through and let the daylight sign your victory. Stand at your window and feel the wind confirm it. The air carries news of endings that set you free. The next chapter begins like a gate that swings wide without noise. My beloved child, the seal is set and the hour is yours. Let the quiet in your chest become a lighthouse for every step. Let the gratitude in your breath become a bridge for everything good that is arriving. Your name is safe and your path is guarded. Your sleep will be deep and your awakening will be bright. Your hands will hold exactly what was promised to you from the beginning. The plan against you falls apart piece by piece until nothing remains but lessons. Your courage becomes the headline that others read for hope. Your life becomes proof that wealth without heart cannot win. My beloved child, I close this message with a blessing that cannot be reversed. Carry it like a drum that keeps perfect time. Carry it like a banner that never lowers. Walk forward now with steady steps. Everything sent to break you has broken itself. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. My beloved child, the night stretched its cloak over the city while their plan tried to breathe. A thin wire of intention hummed between two hearts that never belonged to you. The wire snapped when truth placed its hand upon it. Footsteps echoed in hallways where secrets pretended to be brave. The hired one paused at the threshold and felt their courage turn to steam. A whisper of conscience moved through their bones like first light under a locked door. The envelope of cash began to weigh like wet sand. Every bill carried the heat of a promise that could not survive the morning. Their pockets felt like pockets full of stones from a river that refused to drown you. The rich man tightened his jaw and counted shadows as if numbers could bully fate. He smoked victory before it arrived and inhaled the smoke of his own mistake. The air around him thickened with a quiet that did not respect him anymore. My beloved child, you woke with a stillness that did not belong to fear. You placed your feet on the floor and the ground recognized your name. The room felt taller because your spirit remembered how high it stands. A message came at an unusual hour with the softness of a confession. The hired one typed slowly as if each word weighed a kilo. They said the plan had a leak that would flood the ship from the inside. You read the lines like a map drawn by a tired sailor who finally wanted the shore. The route they offered led you around a trap laid with expensive perfumes. You stepped away from danger as if stepping around a puddle. The city stirred awake and the rumor wore a suit. It tried to introduce itself politely as opportunity. It was escorted out by clarity that did not need an apology. My beloved child, your name grew too bright for their dim corridors. Their codes failed to hide you because your purpose refused to shrink. The lock they chose belonged to a door you no longer use. In the restaurant where arrogance ordered dessert first, the check arrived early. The pen that once obeyed stopped midway like a startled animal. The signature slipped off the page and landed nowhere. A banker with tired eyes double-checked a transfer that never should have passed. He saw the pattern of small amounts repeating with the rhythm of guilt. He pressed pause and the pattern broke like a cheap chain. The clerk who stamped papers began to hear his own heartbeat in the silence. He lifted the file and smelled the dust of a story that did not want to live. He set it aside as if setting aside a snake pretending to be a ribbon. My beloved child, you cleaned your desk and your future made room to sit. Old names faded like chalk beneath a sudden rain. New names rose like carved letters that never wash away. You spoke softly to yourself and the walls learned a new echo. Your voice carried the weight of mountains but walked with the ease of wind. The mirror held your eyes and returned strength instead of doubt. The hired one walked to a river that divides the city and watched the water say truth. They opened their hands and released the final instructions to the current. The pages turned dark and slipped under like secret surrendering. The rich man called a meeting that sounded like a storm in a jar. His allies began to stare at their shoes as if answers lived in leather. The room lost its script because the actors forgot who they were pretending to be. My beloved child, a new door glided toward you like a silent elevator. It opened to a floor where people work with clean hands. Their handshake carried the temperature of honesty and the steadiness of noon. You stepped into spaces that smelled like fresh pages. Ideas arranged themselves into plans that love hard work. The hours began to build a staircase under your feet without asking for praise. A courier who once delivered rumors brought something else today. He arrived without noise and left a small box wrapped in simple paper. Inside was a note that said, "Your name belongs to light." The rich man stood at his window and counted the costs that refused to obey him. Numbers slipped through his fingers like fish who do not respect nets. He learned that influence without honor is a market that closes early. My beloved child, your circle tightened and became a fortress without walls. Laughter returned and sat beside gratitude like two old friends. The air around you tasted like rain that has already decided to bless the fields. A stranger became a friend because truth recognizes its relatives. They offered advice that fit your path like a key already shaped for your lock. Together you drew a map that leads you away from performance and toward purpose. The city's noise continued, but your heart discovered a volume knob. You turned it to a level where discernment speaks clearly. Distractions grew bored and wandered off to find easier prey. The hired one wrote again with a final piece that closed the circle. They sent screenshots that folded the scheme like paper in a child's hand. The timeline untangled and the plot fell to the floor like old rope. My beloved child, you walked past the place where the trap waited and felt only wind. Your steps wrote a testimony on the ground that others can read. Your peace returned wearing armor made of quiet certainties. Doors you forgot you knocked on began to open with soft clicks. Rooms that once ignored you now rearranged chairs to make space. Your name traveled ahead as a recommendation no money can buy. The rich man tried to gather what slipped away and found his pockets full of crumbs. He whispered to mirrors that stopped listening long ago. He faced the price of believing that people are merchandise. Your table filled with work that honors your hours. You schedule days that respect your breath. The calendar learned to serve you instead of rule you. My beloved child, the sky leaned closer as if curious about your joy. Morning poured itself into your window and refused to leave early. Hope settled in your chest like a bird that has found its permanent tree. You held the key from the simple box and felt a door open inside your mind. Vision arrived without noise and carried blueprints in its hands. The future stepped forward and shook hands with your readiness. The clerk who paused the transfer signed a different form. He confirmed the reversal and watched numbers return to the right waters. He felt lighter as if truth had paid him in clean air. The restaurant that hosted arrogance changed its music. The volume lowered to a calm that invited honesty. The pen that failed now wrote a different agreement with someone who earned it. My beloved child, you learned to read silence like a book with golden pages. You recognized love without costumes and loyalty without price tags. Your spirit grew eyes that see through silk. The city's lights blinked like constellations rehearsing your name. Your steps matched a rhythm that does not rush and never stalls. You walked like someone escorted by invisible guardians who do not sleep. A final message arrived, not from fear, but from closure. It carried the last thread of the story that tried to bind you. You tied it into a bow and placed it on a shelf labeled "Finished." My beloved child, the chapter has ended without smoke or applause. It closed itself because it could not stand in the room you became. You turned the page and found a horizon instead of a wall. Gratitude spread across your day like sunlight over water. You breathed and felt the air return the favor. You moved and felt the ground say thank you. The rich man sat with his ledger and learned the cost of himself. He saw that every cheap victory demanded an expensive soul. He watched the door close gently on a plan that forgot to ask permission from truth. Your allies gathered like stars forming a language in the night. Each one spoke in acts instead of promises. Each one brought a tool instead of a speech. My beloved child, you now carry a calm that announces itself without a word. It surrounds conversations and negotiates on your behalf. It turns rooms into safe places and hours into harvests. Keep your pace and let momentum build a quiet empire. Keep your standards and let them choose your companions. Keep your courage and let it edit your future. The wire that once hummed against you is now a string on your instrument. You play a new anthem while the city listens without knowing why it stops to breathe. Your life becomes a soundtrack for those who forgot they are not alone. A window opened somewhere you did not expect. A person you almost overlooked proved to be a bridge. An opportunity you thought was late arrived exactly on time. My beloved child, the seal over your name is brighter than the morning you woke into. It will not dim for gossip or shrink for money. It will not ask permission to protect you. Walk forward with hands that build and eyes that bless. Walk steady with a back that refuses to fold. Walk free with a heart that refuses to rent itself to fear. The plan against you has turned to compost beneath your garden. From it rises work that feeds you and words that feed others. From it rises wisdom that will not spoil. Close this part of the story with a smile that knows too much to explain. Place your peace where others can learn its shape by standing near you. Let your day finish strong and your night sleep deeper than oceans. My beloved child, the next sunrise has already voted in your favor. The wind has already memorized your route. The light has already packed its bags to travel with you. Carry this message like a passport stamped by heaven's customs. Carry this assurance like a medal pinned inside your chest. Carry this season like a door you keep open for miracles to walk through. Your name is safe, your steps are ordered, and your harvest is scheduled. Your allies are arriving, your work is ready, and your courage is funded. Your future is standing at the curb with the engine running. Breathe, rise, and take your place. Everything that tried to take your place has gone home empty. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. My beloved child, the story has not yet closed because the echo of truth continues to travel. The plot that was purchased in secret is unraveling in public silence. Their money is heavy, but their plan is weak because it was never born from honor. The rich man stares at his accounts as if numbers can argue for him. He forgets that wealth without soul is nothing but cold paper. His partners begin to drift like leaves leaving a tree that no longer gives shade. The one who accepted payment to stand against you cannot carry it anymore. Their eyes grow restless because they know a curse follows money earned in betrayal. They feel the weight pressing their chest until it forces them to confess. My beloved child, I see the road bending in your favor even as others tried to sell it away. You are lifted above their schemes as if carried by an invisible current. The protection around you turns every arrow into dust before it lands. The meeting they scheduled dissolves into argument. Voices rise, contracts are torn, and trust between them breaks like glass. They realize too late that the plan they birthed has already buried itself. Your name grows like fire in places they cannot touch. It becomes a banner of resilience whispered in corners that once doubted you. The more they resist, the louder your light spreads. The rich man finds his allies avoiding his calls. Invitations are returned unopened, and doors once wide now close. He stands surrounded by silence he cannot bribe. My beloved child, the day will show you proof that justice is not delayed. An unexpected message, a misdelivered file, a careless mistake, all reveal what was hidden. The truth will find you like a letter delivered to the right address at last. The hired one loses sleep. Their conscience screams louder than the promise of cash. They know their next move will decide whether they sink or rise. Meanwhile, you are lifted higher with opportunities that open gently. A name you thought forgot you will remember and bring favor. Paths that seemed blocked yesterday now glow with green lights. My beloved child, your shield is stronger than gold. Every trap meant for you becomes a pit for those who dug it. Every loss they wished upon you becomes their mirror. Now listen, their payments against you are dissolving like ice under sunlight. Their plan is bankrupt before it reaches your door. What remains is only your rise, your strength, and your unshakable destiny. Your circle tightens to only those who walk with clean intentions. Their presence feels like warmth after storm. Together you step into rooms where no secret payment can reach. My beloved child, I end this part with a seal of victory. Let your heart rest, because the plan against you is finished. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20.